What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal SpazPhoenix, the YWC reality check. No notes, no clipboard, no nothing. Had company over last night, did not take any notes, enjoyed the hell out of this show nonetheless. Guys, this was show of the year, honestly. SummerSlam, not only show of the year for 2012, show of the year as far as... I really can't remember the last time we had a show this good. Even if I was taking notes, I don't think I would have taken many, if you guys know what I mean by that. Anybody that's watched my channel for a long time knows what that means. Gonna give you some off-the-cuff thoughts about some of the matches. Anybody that watched the pre-show, Antonio Cesaro versus Santino Marella, and ultimately all we really wanted in this match was to get the belt off Santino. So if this had been a squash, it would be one of the few stages where I would have completely accepted a squash title match. This, you know, give him the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 28 treatment, more or less. Santino, I want to say he looked good at a few brief points in this match, but the goofball bullshit really overcame it. Cesaro looked great. Cesaro looked dominant. When he won, I didn't mind him winning, let's just put it that way. Big problem with this match was the fact that Santino kept on, after he took out the stupid little Cobra sock and threw it in the corner, he kept on reaching for it like he needed it, like it was a legitimate weapon, like it was Triple H reaching for his sledgehammer, when, you know, obviously the reality of it is the move, whether he's got the sock on his hand or not. You know, Mankind was using the mandible claw long before Mr. Socko came around, so if you want, even if you want to make that comparison, it really didn't work. Got the win, got the his finisher, that thing that I don't know what it's called because WWE doesn't call moves anymore, but it kind of looks like a modified AJ Styles Clash. Got the win. We've got a new US champion, and the rumor is we're going to scrap the US Championship and bring back the European Championship, and if that happens, I'm going to be a happy boy for reasons already previously announced. Opened the show. Can't say I'm surprised by this, but we opened the show with Ziggler versus Jericho, and Ziggler versus Jericho was everything that we needed it to be, wasn't it? Jericho, even though we already know he's phenomenal, I'm a mark for Jericho. I know, Kara, this one's for you. Kara is a huge mark for Jericho. Jericho is fantastic, and Jericho showed it 110% tonight. And Ziggler brought the element that he brings. Ziggler is the bump machine. Ziggler, if I may borrow a phrase from JBL, back when JBL was on commentary, Ziggler drives his body like he stole it. And he did the same tonight. He looked fan-fucking-tastic. Sells the code breaker like death. So there's that. Hits the zigzag. He got all his signature offense in. Jericho got the win. And a lot of people, I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to have a problem with that. But Jericho hasn't had a win since he came back. He's put over everybody and their mother, like Preston mentioned in his review. Everybody go check out Preston, 619 Apocalypse, Kara, Emo Kitty Cat, and all the links that are usually in my description box below. Moving on. Jericho got the win here, and it didn't hurt anybody, because Jericho and Ziggler are both guys that make everybody else look great. So if you can come out of this match losing and still looking like a winner, either one of them would have. So to give Jericho a victory before he heads off into the sunset didn't hurt my feelings at all. Ziggler was still built up higher than he was when he started in this match. So if Ziggler goes in and cashes in Money in the Bank tomorrow, I would believe it. There you go. Next was Daniel Bryan versus Kane, and I didn't really, if anybody that's, you know, watched Wrestling Paradise, Alex's podcast, which you can find on Podbean, or just seen my videos here where I've collaborated with a couple people, everybody knew that I was calling this the piss break match of the night and Daniel Bryan deserved higher, blah 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 blah. Kane did a good job of keeping up with Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan's style and all that, and Daniel Bryan won by out-wrestling Kane. Daniel Bryan went face-to-face with the monster despite the anger issues that he's having, kayfabe-wise, and still managed to cleanly out-wrestle Kane, who, although he's not very exciting to me these days, has the history that he has. It was fantastic. In the end, the match did do great for Bryan, even though it was a large fall down for him on the card. Didn't mind it at all. And, in fact, I did not use it as a piss break. I could have used something later on as a piss break, but whatever. Next we had, oh, yes. Next we had Miz versus Rey. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Guys, I did the video last week, the 10 reasons why I thought this match shouldn't happen, and as most people predicted, I did get a very, very animated response from Preston, and that was, I guess that was to be expected, which is fine, and I'm not, let me say it here and now, I'm not shitting on Preston for that. He does what he does, I do what I do, and we're both very, very awesome at it. But most of those points, the first point in that video was that I thought it was predictable that Rey was going to get the squash, and the next 9 points were based on that. I am happy to say, as I promised in my prediction vid, I'm very, very happy to say that there are no bars. I've lost reception. My battery is dead. And the call to 619 indeed did not go through. My boy, The Miz, is still the Intercontinental Champion. Oh, yes. Now, all that aside, Rey Mysterio looked fantastic in this match. Did a fantastic job of putting The Miz over. Not to say that it was a squash. Not to say that Rey didn't look fantastic in this match. Rey, even though I am a Rey fan and people don't believe this, but I do have a shit ton of respect for Rey Mysterio, Rey looked better than I expected him to look in this match. By leaps, by bounds, and much like Ziggler did for Jericho, Rey Mysterio sold the skull-crushing finale like death. Not a fan of him coming out in the whole Batman attire. I mean, I know the tradition is that he comes out as the comic book characters for WrestleMania, and I get it. To me, it felt a little out of place at SummerSlam, and just this particular costume I didn't think was that great, which is not a knock on Rey, it's a knock on whoever's working in wardrobe, quite frankly. The other thing I will say, even though I am a ridiculous fan of The Miz, the Bubble Awesome is great as long as they use it here and there. Like, if he uses it at Mania, he used it at SummerSlam, etc. If he uses it, say, even if he used it at the Big Four, if he used it at SummerSlam, Mania, Survivor Series, and the Rumble, that's fine. If they start using it more often, and this is coming from me, probably the biggest Miz mark in YWCville, if they start using it all the time, it's going to become way too much. It's going to be like the inflatable entrance that MVP had. Moving on, fantastic match. They gave this match more time than I predicted that they would. They let these guys go balls to the wall more than I thought they would. They let Rey Mysterio look a hell of a lot more vulnerable than I thought they would. So I guess, in some respects, I do have to take a second look at my super family analogy. It's still apt, he's still there, but he might be more of a distant cousin of the super family than Kelly Kelly and John Cena's son. Moving on, because I'm pretty sure I'm trolling the hell out of a lot of people right now. Everybody's gripe with this pay-per-view. Del Rio versus Sheamus. Del Rio looked like boss in this match, and I don't care. I defy anybody that actually knows anything about wrestling to tell me Del Rio didn't look boss in this match. Del Rio pulled Sheamus to a good match. If that doesn't tell you right there, Sheamus is the Ginger John Cena. Sheamus does not know how to sell. The story is for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. We've had his arm being worked on. We had his arm worked on like a couple of weeks ago by Daniel Bryan. We've had it worked on continuously by Alberto Del Rio leading up into this match. We had it worked on continuously in this match, and at one point one of Sheamus's biggest spots was a one-arm powerbomb. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Yeah, he had the other arm there to make the clasp, but basically he sold it as a one-armed powerbomb. Please learn how to sell. Please learn some psychology. Please learn what the fuck you're doing. And this is where I'm going to throw to Preston. This is where I'm going to throw to Alex Dalyxman, who's another person everybody should check out. Who was the face and who was the heel in this match? Really? Because it was Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus was the face. Ideally, wasn't it going in? But the way they booked it, you know, Sheamus looked like a chaser because on the very last SmackDown before the pay-per-view, he was the one begging for the match. Sheamus was the one stealing cars. And in this match, Sheamus was the one that used the outside object, and Sheamus was the one that took advantage of the referee not seeing Alberto Del Rio's foot on the rope. So, in essence, another, and I'm going to stress that word, another great showing by Alberto Del Rio. Another great exhibition of, if anybody, why Alberto Del Rio should be the World Heavyweight Championship right now, or championship holder right now. And another example of what, you know, getting down on all fours in front of Triple H will get you. But moving on. Next we had... What did we have next? I think I have this in right order, guys. Like I say, no notes. Primetime Players versus our Boom. There wasn't much to it. They got the smiling, happy, feel-good babyface retention of their titles, and Primetime Players aren't nearly as exciting without AW. Good job, Linda McMahon. Not really much else I want to say on that. I don't want to really dwell on it because this is a positive video. Moving on. We have the triple threat match for the world, or sorry, not the world, the WWE Championship. I can speak, I swear. It's not the World Heavyweight Championship match. It's not Kane. Get it in gear, Spaz. Moving on. CM Punk versus John Cena versus The Big Show. Big Show moved and hustled his ass a lot in this match. I will give him a whole lot of credit for it. John Cena got his ass handed to him for a lot of this match. Big Show pulled off the spear, again, which, like I say, I'm really, really becoming a fan of. Other than that, nothing spectacular from him. A lot of great stuff from CM Punk, who was donning the bright, bright, bright Heart Foundation colors this evening. Oh, yes he was, and that made me smile a lot. We had a double submission spot where CM Punk had not the Anaconda Vice, but I believe what is called the Koji Clutch. Somebody please correct me down in the box below if I'm wrong. And John Cena kind of lay down on top of both of them trying to put in the STF, which is great, you know, by John Cena standards. And Big Show taps out. We have two winners, which... Let's face it, in a regular triple threat match, if two guys have a submission locked on the guy, the referee doesn't count the win for either one of them, normally, unless it's a big booking decision. But we got an AJ sighting for the evening, which always makes me a happy kid. She came down, she restarted the match. Cena, for the 101st time, hit the attitude adjustment on the Punk. Or, sorry, hit the attitude adjustment on the Big Show, and then Punk neatly disposed of Cena and picked up the win. Everything in that worked. We got the big power spot from John Cena, who was a ragdoll for most of this match. Big Show ate the pin so that Cena and Punk wouldn't have to. Punk retained by, you know, slightly heelish means, even though it's entirely within the realm of a triple threat match. Can't really ask much else of this. As far at this point, I'm a happy kid. At this point, the WWE can do no wrong, because the two main titles in the WWE, and yes, I said it, the ones that are actually important, are held by CM Punk and my boy The Miz. Moving on. Main event time. Now, everybody expected this to be another Extreme Rules, you know, tables, ladders, and chairs, and bullshit, and nonsense, and weapons, and interference, and all that kind of thing. It wasn't. The thing about this match between Triple H and Brock Lesnar was, yeah, there was a brawl, there was some hardcore-ish stuff, but realistically, this was the most scientific, this was the most psychological, this was the most salesman-oriented, the most storytelling match of the evening. Really. The story of this match was Brock Lesnar working on Triple H's arm and Triple H working on Brock Lesnar's stomach, playing up on the injuries that he got in the UFC, and playing up on Triple H's previously broken arm. The match was great. There wasn't really any other focus on anything else. I mean, even when Brock Lesnar did something as simple as a slam, he would always make sure he was slamming Triple H on the arm. Once Brock Lesnar got the stomach injury, Triple H was able to, you know, have, you know, punches and strikes and whatever at his stomach, which was now injured, to break up the submission hold. Everything in this match worked fantastically. Brock Lesnar got the win that he needed to get. We had a great sequence of reversals at the end, from F5 to pedigree to F5 to pedigree, and then the Kimura lock to get the final victory. Don't know if they meant to kayfabe that Triple H broke his arm again, but he's standing there having a big emotional moment with the crowd, saying he's sorry. What normally would have, I don't remember who, I'm going to reference Chris Benoit, which, you know, we're not allowed to do here in the WWE. There was a match he had at the Royal Rumble one year, and I think it was against Kurt Angle. He lost the match and still got a standing ovation when he left. I think the WWE thought they were going to get the same thing for Triple H here. And this is where I got to really shake my head at some of the LA crowd. After the great match that we got, what Triple H gets a "you tapped out" chant. So to those fans in LA, go fuck yourself. That was an amazing match. Triple H, who always gets accused of, you know, never putting anybody else over, put Brock Lesnar over for the greater good of the company and whatever Brock Lesnar's doing at WrestleMania. So yeah, as a matter of fact, this is one thing I will say about this pay-per-view. Other than Sheamus, who, you know, is squashing everybody, all the guys that sort of always win lost tonight. Triple H lost, John Cena lost, which makes me a happy kid and you know it, and unpredictably enough, Rey Mysterio lost. So yeah, they really are putting their faith in some different people. So I have to take my hat off for that. And I have to take my hat off one more time to Preston. Even though his guy went down, he was tremendously respectful in his review, not only of me, but of my boy The Miz, who he's exactly high on. And I did hear it, and me and the rest of the Misfits do appreciate it. Guys, I'm doing this Monday afternoon. I'm probably going to tack this onto the beginning of my Raw review, so you're going to probably get it all in one bit. But if you didn't like this show, if you didn't like the Sheamus match and how all that played out, then fine. The people that are comparing Sheamus's tactics to Eddie Guerrero's tactics, that's disrespectful and disgusting. Other than that, if you didn't like this show, then you went into it not wanting to like it. That's the only way I can describe it. Anyways, not really much else to say. As I've said, by far, by a country mile, best pay-per-view they've done this year. Anyways, I will see you guys after Raw, but till then, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep this conversation going, don't be a stranger, and I'll talk to each and every last one of you in about 6 hours. Cheers, guys. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Still your buddy, still your pal, still the YWC reality check, SpazPhoenix. Here I am back a mere 6 hours later with the August 20th Raw review. First and foremost, guys, in the past 24 hours we've had 6 phenomenal hours of sports entertainment, haven't we? We started off the show tonight with Lesnar and Heyman coming out, bragging about their win against Triple H. Heyman going into detail about how the match was very, very uncomfortable. Talking about being on commentary when Triple H tore his quad and was still able to finish the match, but Lesnar last night made him quit. And then he sort of drives it home. He quit on his fans, he quit on his friends, his family, his company. You know, basically saying, you know, he's the new representative of Vince McMahon in the WWE, and he quit on all of them. Brought out the referee with this whole spiel about how Triple H brought this all on himself, called out Scott Armstrong, and basically Lesnar intimidates him for a couple seconds, and he says, you know, I got 2 words for you, and grabs him up really tight and says, good job, and then they laugh at him and he kind of goes away. Heyman sort of announces Lesnar as the new King of Kings, the new conqueror and ruler of the WWE, and finishes off the promo and leaves. No interruptions, no interjections. Yeah, it went unanswered, which doesn't happen very often in the WWE, but when it does, it's very, very... I don't know what the word is. I guess you could say the word is memorable, impactful. Choose whatever word you want. We go back to the commentators talking about CM Punk on Tout, thinking he deserves the right to pick his own next #1 contender, and, you know, hey, we're going to get the answer from AJ Lee later tonight, etc., etc., etc. Start off the show with a 6-person tag, R-Boom and Sin Cara versus the Primetime Players and Cody Rhodes. R-Boom are handing out toys. They show a clip on Tout of R-Truth pouring Gatorade on the floor because he thinks little Jimmy is there. Yeah. The match was fast-paced. All 6 guys in the match, like... My problems with R-Boom aside, my problems with R-Truth and Little Jimmy aside, you got 6 talented guys in this ring. There's no way this match is going to be bad. Really, really fast-paced. Cody tries to bail from Sin Cara before the commercial break. When they come back, it is very fast-paced. And the 6 guys in the ring you know, they gel really well. It does great for two feuds. It continues the R-Boom Primetime Players feud, and if they want to turn Sin Cara and Cody Rhodes into a feud, which is what they seem like they're doing, it won't exactly hurt my feelings either. It gets a decent amount of time. Rhodes tries to unmask Sin Cara. Sin Cara uses the distraction to get a roll-up. Sin Cara and R-Boom, the faces, get the feel-good victory, and you know, we'll see where it goes from here. In the back, we have Matt Striker talking to AJ, about to ask AJ about the whole CM Punk situation, when she is interrupted by the returning David Otunga. No mustache and beard, looks kind of weird. Says, you know, he just came back from being in some movie. Apparently WWE Films is churning out a whole bunch of them at once. Yay. Are you excited? I'm sure as fuck not. Anyways, starts ass-kicking, looking for a job, looking for a legal representation, and he starts talking about how she's crazy and she needs protection, da-da-da-da-da, and she says, hey, I don't need a job, I don't need a lawyer, whatever, but you're here on Raw tonight, so I can give you a match, and you have a match against an unnamed opponent. And when any boss says that to somebody, it's usually bad. In AJ Lee's case, I mean, the last person she said that to was JTG, and JTG got Ryback. So, yeah. As far as CM Punk naming his own #1 contender, she says he can, which I don't really understand, but it's pending her approval. Coming back, we have Ryback versus two jobbers, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a step backwards, but there's a lot, every time, even when he's facing jobbers, Ryback always introduces something new. What he did to one of these guys, and I've written here that it was sort of a face-first chokeslam, but he didn't really pick the guy up. He grabbed the guy by the back of the head and sort of face-planted him into the floor very forcefully. But if he had lifted him up at all, I would have no problem calling this a face-first chokeslam. He also pulled off a very, you know, very impressive, very effortless-looking multi-powerbomb, and the whole time he's yelling in their faces, Jinder, building up the whole feud he's got going with Jinder Mahal, which is nice. Jinder attacks from behind, mauls Ryback, puts him in the camel clutch for like a second, and then runs away. Ryback turns his attention back to the jobbers, hits the double Fisherman Buster on both of them, and that's the match, really, realistically. Ziggler and Jericho in the back arguing over the rematch. Ziggler wants a rematch. Jericho doesn't want to give him a rematch because Jericho's too important and whatever and da-da-da. AJ comes skipping along, says, hey, basically you guys have a match tonight. Jericho, it's your career versus Ziggler's Money in the Bank case. And the collective WWE universe goes, what? Again, I have to say that accidentally Facebook spoiled the fuck out of this for me because, as I've said a million times, Canada plays Raw an hour later than everybody else. Not blaming anybody else. Totally my own fault for leaving Facebook open. I wish I had not had it open at that particular point. Anyways, Alberto Del Rio comes out after the break, starts making his claims, his legitimate claims, may I add, that he got screwed last night, Sheamus used a weapon, Sheamus was cheating, da-da-da-da-da, sort of calls himself the uncrowned champion, really, and demands another title shot. AJ comes out once again. We do get a lot of AJ in this show tonight, and I don't mind that a bit. No, I don't. Says, you know, the World Heavyweight Championship's a SmackDown entity, and I don't have any control over that, but what I can do is give you a match that will give you a chance to impress Booker T, and maybe Booker T will give you another title shot. You're going to fight this guy. And doesn't it turn out to be Randy Orton? Oh, yes. Sheamus comes out on commentary after the break. Cole and Sheamus bicker throughout this whole friggin' segment. Cole is getting better, but don't put somebody like Sheamus on commentary. Please, please, I'm begging you. Some of the highlights. Orton does the Orton Stomp relatively early on in the match. I love the Orton Stomp because it's just so dirty looking. Let's step on your wrist. Let's step on your ankle. Let's step on your head. Whatever. Alberto Del Rio had a lot of nice kicks in this match. Really sweet high kick to the head, as well as a low drop kick. Orton tried for the second rope, hold on. Got a second rope superplex on Alberto Del Rio, and tries for the suspension D, which Alberto Del Rio counters into an enziguri, which is a really, really neat spot, because they did it out on the apron, and it looked good. I'm not gonna, you know, mince words. It looked friggin' great. Second attempt at the suspension DDT actually gets it. Sheamus takes out Ricardo on the outside. Alberto Del Rio has a pin on Orton, but Orton's foot is on the rope, and Sheamus makes sure that the referee knows about it. And Alberto Del Rio gets mad at him for that, allowing Randy Orton to hit the RKO, and RKO gets the win for Orton, absolutely. we see a very brief recap of Antonio Cesaro winning the United States Championship. Not much more is said about that. I'm pretty sure they're going to save it for SmackDown. I really hope the rumors of him bringing back the European Championship are true, because European Championship I would actually give a shit about, because it doesn't have the stink of Santino on it. Moving on. I would like to make an official announcement, everybody. Official announcement. I want to get on a YWC loudspeaker, grab me a megaphone, grab me a YouTube channel, a tout, a Twitter, a Facebook post, everything. Everybody within the sound of my voice. It is now official. Diva matches are no longer the piss break of the WWE. The piss break of the WWE is anything involving Brodus Clay and or Damien Sandow and or the two of them together. Brodus Clay versus Damien Sandow. The match sucked. Sandow wins after getting his ass handed to him for most of the match by Clay, which is funny enough in and of itself. Sandow gets the win with a weird-looking roll-up, which in all actuality is fat-ass Brodus Clay lying on his side and the referee being an idiot. And Santino squashes Sandow after the match, so Sandow doesn't even get to celebrate his victory, and I don't really know how the Spartans, celebrate victory in Sparta. I'm sure he'll throw somebody into a pit or whatever. Get these assholes off my television screen. They are wasting my time. Moving on. And yes, certain ashholes out there that pretend that they don't watch my channel, you can suck it. Moving on. Shawn Michaels did a video thing via satellite, talks about knowing when it's over, talking about, making veiled references to his retirement match with The Undertaker, making more direct references to Triple H potentially retiring after his match with Lesnar last night, talking about how, as a friend, he should have told him point blank he didn't think he could beat Lesnar, and he's proud of his friend. You've got nothing to be ashamed of if you walk into the sunset right now, and nobody's really going to hold it against you type thing. It's... I don't know, for a Shawn Michaels promo, it was missing a lot. I know he was trying to be emotional, he was trying to, make it look like he was crying or overcome with emotion or whatever. It didn't translate to me, and I hate saying that. I have a shit ton of respect for Shawn Michaels. This one didn't deliver. Guys, that's all I'm going to say. Otunga finds out what his death sentence is, and his death sentence is a squash match with the Big Show, and the squash match entails, and Big Show wins, and we move on. Now, here's where we get into kooky AJ Lee booking. We're going to help Daniel Bryan and Kane solve their anger management issues by partnering them with people that they've had trouble with in the past. So the match we have is Kane and Zack Ryder, versus The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Now, Kane... the way they tried to play it off is, former enemies, etc. Kane destroyed Zack Ryder for a couple months straight. Daniel Bryan got trained by The Miz on NXT, and then they sort of split ways. So, it's not exactly comparable, but whatever. Bryan tries to run at the beginning of the match, so Miz starts the match. Miz dominates Ryder, so does Bryan when he comes in. Bryan starts working over Ryder's arm. Daniel Bryan hits this really awkward and gross-looking knee drop to Ryder's jaw. That was about the highlight of this match. Miz and Daniel Bryan both bail when Kane is tagged in. Kane, because it's Kane, thinks to himself, oh, my opponents are gone. There's one more person I can beat up. I'll just beat up my partner instead. Chokeslam and a tombstone for Ryder. Ryder, thanks for showing up on Raw. Pick up your paycheck at the door. Moving on. Striker backstage with Punk says he has picked John Cena. Talks about earning respect from John Cena and says he has a stipulation for the match and he'll announce it later today when he calls out John Cena. We have, not really announced ahead of time, but a Divas Battle Royal to establish the new #1 contender for the Divas Championship. The only reason they needed a #1 contender for the Divas Championship is because all the titles have to be defended at the next pay-per-view, let's be honest. Didn't hurt my feelings at all to see Caitlyn win this. We need, not somebody new, but guys, how can I say this? It's always the same couple of people fighting over the belt. It's either Layla, Eve, Kelly Kelly, or Beth Phoenix. Now, I don't mind Layla and I don't mind Eve, but if you've only got 2 out of the 4 main players that I actually give a damn about, it's like if I say, for example, perfect example, John Cena, Big Show, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk. are the WWE title picture at the moment. Now, only 2 out of 4 of them do I give a damn about. Same thing in the Divas division. So we got somebody brand new. This is like what it will be like when we infuse Dolph Ziggler into the World Heavyweight title situation. So yes, right now I'm saying it, and yes, this is a loaded statement, and I'm going to get shit on for it by a lot of people. Caitlyn is the Dolph Ziggler of the Divas division right now. Oh yes, see what you can do with that. Lesnar announces over tout that he's leaving the WWE because there are no challenges left for him. We see another great video package for the return of Wade Barrett. We have Ziggler versus Jericho, case versus career. I did not write a thing for this match other than the fact that Ziggler won. This match was a great sort of part 2 to the match they had last night at SummerSlam. Ziggler gets the win, deserving fashion, no cheap shit, no heel tactics. Great straight up match. He gets the win. Jericho kind of throws a temper tantrum at the end, kind of heelish, and beats him up with the case and leaves with a code breaker. But I mean, if that's how he's going to walk out, let him walk out with a bang, I suppose. Great match overall. Jericho's going to do his Fozzy thing. You know, for what it's worth, I'll wish him well on that. And Ziggler gets a big feather in his cap. Not only did he go head-to-head with a legend like Chris Jericho 2 nights in a row, score a victory, retain his Money in the Bank briefcase, and retire, quote-unquotes, or should I say tight air quotes, as John would say, retired Chris Jericho. So, yeah, if that doesn't tell you how much stock WWE's putting in Dolph Ziggler, and for those of you that say he's not ready for the World Heavyweight Championship, really, really, really dust off your caps. Moving on. Punk comes down and he immediately starts his promo talking to Jerry Lawler again about the comments that Jerry Lawler made a few weeks ago about turning his back on the company by GTSing The Rock. He's interrupted by Cena. Cena comes out to the ring. He comes out to the ring. He says, basically, this is another example of you showing me no respect. You knew I was going to call you out in a second. Does this great monologue about how he's been the champion for, you know, close to 9 months or just over 9 months or whatever. And in that entire time, John Cena's been in the main event every time. He let him have the main event because of respect, but now he doesn't feel like any of the respect has been returned. And here is where my stomach turns just a little bit. You guys know how I feel about Cena. Begrudgingly, very, very begrudgingly, I will admit, John Cena's rebuttal to this was pretty damn good. He did a usual John Cena promo, talking about respect, talking about earning respect, da-da-da-da-da. There was pandering in it because it's John Cena. He pandered to the city, he pandered to their sports team, etc. All the things that usually annoy me, and all the things that usually annoy a lot of people that don't like John Cena. But I do have to admit his response was good, because Punk's whole deal was, I will give you a WWE title shot if you admit to all these people right now that I'm the best in the world. And Cena basically says, you know, you can't demand respect, you have to earn it, so give the title shot to whoever you want, but everybody's eyes are on you right now, and their respect is going to depend on what you do right now. So John Cena leaves, and as if he's brushing off a minor irritation, CM Punk goes right back to Lawler, calls Lawler into the ring. Lawler does, in fact, give him an apology, and says, okay, well, seeing as Cena wouldn't do it, I want you to do it. I want you to tell me I'm the best in the world. Lawler says, well, I have this great rapport with the WWE Universe. I'm honest with them. I always tell them how I feel, so no, I'm not going to do that. And he kicks Lawler in the head and just kind of stares at him for like an awkward minute and a half, and that's how the show goes off the air. Basically, we're getting Cena versus Punk again, guys. What do you want me to tell you? That's about the end of that. But great episode of Raw, and because my clipboard is always special, there we go. Score fail and MVP. Score. Brock's message goes unanswered at the beginning of the show. Like I say, the fact that it goes unanswered, the fact that absolutely nobody is willing to step up, even the ones that respect Triple H and say, you know, look, this is a guy we respect, this is a guy, we're not going to let you run this guy down, he's, you know, representing all of us. The fact that nobody did that makes Heyman's message more true, makes Lesnar's presence more dominant. It works. First of all, two-part score here. Cody Rhodes was on Raw. When was the last time Cody Rhodes was on fucking Raw? Yeah. good night for my Fave 5. Like I said before, potential, I guess it'll be a short-lived rivalry. I don't see them dragging it out. But potential short-term rivalry between him and Sin Cara, from what I saw tonight, could be interesting. Could be pay-per-view worthy, even though it's not going to be for a title, so it won't be a Night of Champions. They seem to be building up a thing between Ryback and Jinder Mahal, which also intrigues me. And it should intrigue anybody that watches the new sort of revamped NXT. Because although Jinder Mahal jobs like a motherfucker every Raw and every SmackDown, he looks fantastic. Sorry, I can speak, I swear. There we go, the t-shirts are coming soon. He looks fantastic on NXT, which is kind of unfortunate, but whatever. I'm going to give a score to the return of David Otunga, and I'm not even really sure why. He's one of those goofy guys that's like, okay, you hate him and we bash on him all the time, but when he's not there, you know, you don't have anybody to bash on. So now we have somebody to bash on again. And I know my buddy John, VocalAggression, has been tongue trolling since his return on Raw tonight. So little shout out for John. Everybody go check out VocalAggression. You will not, you won't regret it. Not that it'll go anywhere, but the whole clusterfuck between Kane and Ryder and Miz and Bryan, for a whole lot of reasons, it gave The Miz something to do. Miz being partnered up with somebody like Bryan, Miz, who's the current Intercontinental Champion, Bryan, who's just one of the hottest talents in the WWE right now, Kane, who is awesome and needs something cool to keep him relevant, and Ryder, who, let's face it, hasn't been on Raw in a while. So everybody got a little bit out of this. Didn't really go anywhere, but didn't really hurt anything either. I thought it was a great little segment, and the end of it gave me a bit of a laugh. You knew at the end of the night Kane was going to chokeslam / tombstone somebody. So if it's going to be Ryder, then nobody really will care, let's be honest. Ziggler Jericho 2. Great match. It allowed... Ziggler winning tonight allowed Jericho to win last night, so that in his entire current run, he's not completely... without victory on the pay-per-view scale. Tonight, if this was his way out, he got a chance to go out on his back, like wrestlers always talk about, which is a respect thing. It's about a passing the torch thing. It boosts Ziggler in ways you can't even imagine. He was able to retain his Money in the Bank briefcase, which boosts the value of that. He's able to walk around, for now anyway, like the cock of the walk, saying he's the one that retired Chris Jericho. Jericho gets to go off and do Fozzy. Everybody wins. Fail. Nobody wants to see Cena as champion. I'm willing to put that out. Or no, the people, let's say, above 5. The people that have maybe passed puberty, the people that, you know, can form an independent thought, don't want Cena to be WWE champion again. But he's the voiceover for the Night of Champions commercial. That's a very small thing, but it irked me, so I had to write it down. The little Jimmy shit with R-Truth, just... stop. Just stop. Because it's the only thing, the little Jimmy shit and the fact that, you know, R-Truth is cuckoo bananas is the only thing giving R-Boom any personality right now, and that's why nobody cares about the Tag Team Championships. Once again, Sheamus's heel shit continues. You know, Sheamus is sitting there, you know, distracting referees, you know, having influence on matches, etc. And it's just a continuation of what we've all been sick of for a long time. Here's Sheamus, who's supposed to be this, you know, big rocket up his ass babyface, and he's winning by heel tactics, and he's pulling, you know, heel shenanigans on everybody, and the booking just does not make a scrap of sense. Also, I don't like the fact that it's implied that Randy Orton needed help to beat Alberto Del Rio, because while I am a fan of Alberto Del Rio, think he deserves to be World Heavyweight Champion at the moment, he's nowhere near the level of Randy Orton. Let's be honest. Moving on. I said it before, anything involving Damian Sandow and or Brodus Clay and or both of them, just stop. Just stop. Anyways, Fave 5. Punk I don't know what to say about, because he didn't have a match tonight. The promo was kind of left unanswered. The question was kind of... the challenge question, whatever, was sort of left unanswered, so we don't really know where Punk sits. So for the first time since I've been doing Fave 5, I don't really know what to say about Punk, other than he's great on the mic and he's still the champion. We already know both of these things, so those are not really points of elevation. Orton beat Alberto Del Rio. Good to see. Good to see Orton get a strong-looking victory anyway, considering he wasn't able to be on the pay-per-view last night. Miz... here's what I'm going to say. Miz was in a tag team match and didn't lose. I'm not saying he won, because nobody won. This was like no contest, pretty much. Because what's the referee's call when the partners start beating each other up? It's got to be a no contest. So Miz was in a tag team match and didn't lose. Yes. Rhodes, let's be honest, he didn't win the match tonight, but his victory tonight, and it is a victory in my books, is the fact that he's actually back on Raw for the first time in I don't know how many weeks. Ziggler, and I'm going to skip right to it. He's made MVP for this week, and there's nobody else that could have even touched him. Bounced back from a loss last night, won his match tonight, retained his briefcase, and retired a future Hall of Famer in Chris Jericho. What else do you need to be called the MVP of Raw tonight? It's really, really true. Ziggler's got a rocket up his ass. My boys, CM Punk and The Miz, are still running shit. If Ziggler picks up the World Heavyweight Championship, then my Fave 5 will hold all the belts that really mean anything. And I will be a happy boy. Happy, 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 happy boy. Anyways, I'm done trolling, I'm done talking. It's late and I still have to upload this shit. So until next time, I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep this conversation going. Tell me what you thought of SummerSlam, tell me what you thought of Raw. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.